Another silly season domino has fallen as it has been officially announced that Parker Retzlaff will join Viking Motorsports in 2026. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive major breaking news early this morning as it has been officially announced and confirmed that Parker Retzlaff will join Viking Motorsports in the 2026 season. Here's the announcement from Viking Motorsports. We're excited to welcome Parker Retzlaff and crew chief Danny Eflin to our 2026 lineup. Skull. Continuing on as well. Toby Christie reports that it says on Friday, Parker Retzlaff was officially introduced as a driver of Viking Motorsports number 99 Chevrolet for the 2026 NASCAR Rally Auto Parts Series season. Along with Retzlaff, Viking Motorsports acquired Danny Eflin as Retzlaff's crew chief. Here's what Don Sockett said about bringing him into the program. Parker brings youthful energy, talent, and a hunger to win that aligns perfectly with our Viking spirit. Danny's technical expertise and leadership will strengthen our team in the race shop and at the track. Together, they represent the next evolution of Viking Motorsports as we continue to build a program that's truly forged to race at the shop. Here's what Retzlaff said about joining the team. Joining Viking Motorsports feels like the perfect fit. You can feel the passion and drive this team has from top to bottom. The number 99 Chevy has huge potential, and I'm ready to give everything I've got for Don, Danny, and the whole Viking family. We're going to fight really hard every week to try to be fast and really competitive. Here's what Danny Eflin said about joining up with the program next year as well. He says, I'm excited to join this team and work with Parker to bring the number 99 program to the next level. There's a real sense of purpose and pride in everything they do. We're ready to dig in, refine our cars, and keep pushing forward toward the efforts. For those wondering about Pat Tryson, as reported by Toby Christie as well, Pat Tryson will transition to a role where he'll oversee the team shop operations, pretty much be one of the higher-ups at the organization going forward. Pat Tryson, of course, had been a long-term crew chief in the sport, had been the crew chief for Matt DiBenedetto in 2025 and 2024 as well. But now we'll go to more of a transitional role and oversee the shop going forward in the future. Of course, there's been a lot of rumors and speculation about this over the last couple of days. Originally, we all thought Connor Mosack was going to be the driver of this number 99 car, but when Viking Motorsports put that teaser video out on Wednesday, many people began to speculate that Parker Retzlaff was going to be the driver for this program, and now we officially know he will be. It's unknown how much support Viking Motorsports is also going to get in 2026, but there is a ton of speculation considering Parker Retzlaff is someone that ECR likes, and a lot of people, the Chevy camp, like a lot. Many think that Parker Retzlaff is going to be strong and really good in this car, and I think this program is going to get some really good support going into 2026. But now, let's talk about the driver getting behind the wheel of this car, Parker Retzlaff. I think Parker Retzlaff is a solid candidate to take over this car, and I think he's a really good driver in my opinion. He's never been in top-level equipment, but look what he's done with a couple of other organizations he's driven for. Let's go back to last year, for instance, when he drove for Jordan Anderson Racing. In 2024, Parker Retzlaff had a couple really strong runs. In fact, he didn't win the pole once. He won the pole twice in 2024, picked up the pole at, I believe, Martinsville, I'm pretty sure. And there were a lot of times where that 31 car would be up inside the top 10 in top 15 and would be really, really strong. While Parker, I don't believe, finished inside the top 15 in points in 2024. He led laps early in the year, had a couple chances to go to victory lane, and almost won a Cup Series race at Daytona that year as well. Parker was really strong then. Then, of course, he transitioned over to Alpha Prime Racing in 2025, and Parker did have some lowlights at points in 2025 where they had issues of making races. They failed to qualify for the races circuit of the Americas, and they did have issues running up front of points. I think there was a stretch of races, 5 or 6 events, where he failed to finish inside the top 30, but then this team really started figuring out their mojo, and they did improve as time progressed and went on, and Parker had an outside shot of finishing in the top 20 in points. Unfortunately, failed to finish inside the top 20, but Parker did show a lot of promise and potential. And now Parker is going to be going to a team like Viking. Now, I will say this when it comes to Viking Motorsports and Alpha Prime. I do think Viking Motorsports is a little bit of an upgrade over Alpha Prime Racing. Sure, Brendan Poole took that car inside the top 20 in the points, but I think Brendan Poole always outperforms his equipment, and I think that Alpha Prime team is not as good as people think it is. I think Alpha Prime is a team that's shown some improvement. There's no denying that, but I don't think it's a team that can really set the world on fire, especially if Viking Motorsports is going to get a lot more support in 2026. I do believe Parker Retzlaff will have a really solid year in 2026. So what are my predictions of Parker Retzlaff going into next year? My first prediction is Parker Retzlaff will contend for the top 20 in the standings. I think he will be a top 20 threat on a week-by-week basis. There was a lot of times when Matt DiBenedetto drove this car where this car would be inside the top 20, and I realistically do believe that this car will have top 20 pace and top 20 speed on a week-by-week basis. I think there will get a couple occasional top 10s throughout the year. I think there's going to be a lot of times where they're also inside the top 15. I do think Parker Retzlaff will definitely have a pretty solid season with this team and program. I don't expect him to be a major championship threat. Viking's not one of these teams, but I think the goal for Parker is to kind of be on that same level as teams like Sam Hunt Racing, which Harrison Burton and Dean Thompson, be on the same level maybe as Alpha Prime. Of course, we'll be getting most likely over to Ford in 2026, not going to be a Chevrolet, sounds like next year. Kind of be on that same level as other organizations in the middle, like AIM Racing or Sigma Racing next year. I think that's the goal for Parker going into next year, is get this team kind of in that top 15, top 20 range and be a threat and contender on a week-by-week basis next year. And I think this is still a very solid move, and they're going to be bringing in a really good crew chief in Danny Eflin. Danny Eflin, in my opinion, I think he's a very solid crew chief. We saw what he could do with Harrison Burton this year. That AM Racing team in 2025 compared to where they were in 2024, that team took a major step forward this year. They went from a team that was struggling to even make races last year, of Haley Deegan and other drivers behind the wheel, only scoring 2 or 3 top 10s across the board, to go into a team who made the playoffs this year and bringing Harrison Burton into the conversation for down the road being able to go back cup racing because he's going to be with the Toyota next year. And I do believe that he did a really good job behind the wheel. I think Danny Eflin is going to bring a lot to the table for Parker Retzlaff in 2026, and I'm excited for this move because I do believe that Parker Retzlaff getting Danny Eflin as a crew chief, I think this is a really, really solid move. I think overall the team's goal is to continue to show that progression, get a lot better. We don't know exactly what the sponsorship will look like because I believe Parker will likely be bringing Funk away with him over to the program next year. Not entirely sure at this point on that, but I do think Parker will be bringing some sponsorship and funding over to the program in 2026. So with Parker Retzlaff now being confirmed, there are still some other moves that do need to be made with the lower series at this point. Obviously, Alpha Prime Racing, like I mentioned, it sounds like they're going to be switching over to Ford in 26. Unknown if Brendan Poole will be back with the program next year or not at this time. Parker could have some upgraded rides coming in, but unknown what he'll be doing in 2026. You've got Joe Gibbs Racing that still needs to confirm Brent Cruz to be confirmed for the program. Brent Cruz is expected to go over to Joe Gibbs Racing full-time in 2026. Will likely miss a few races because he's 17, but once he turns 18, he will run the whole entire in full season. There's some other smaller teams that need to confirm their stuff, like SS Greenlight Racing, for example. A couple other teams also need to kind of confirm their stuff, like I said, like Alpha Prime, and a couple other teams need to confirm their stuff, and even been rumors about Spire Motorsports potentially going over to the Xfinity Series or the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series next year. There's a lot of talk about that, but a lot of rides are starting to be officially finalized and confirmed, and I think that this is going to be a pretty exciting year for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and there could be a potential possibility that there are some teams that you don't expect to be playoff or championship contenders that could be contenders, because I think the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series next year is going to be the Wild Wild West. You're going to have Justin Allgaier, Sammy Smith are going to be contenders. You're going to have Austin Hill and Jesse Love who are going to be contenders to the championship. You're going to have other people like a Brent Cruz who could be a championship threat, like a Taylor Gray, like a Brandon Jones. And you'll have Roger Kroof and even Carson Quaffle next year, I think, are going to be contenders. And then you're going to have some Cup guys coming down next year. Kyle Larson probably, Chase Elliott probably, William Byron, Alex Bowman probably, Ross. We already know Ross is saying Shaman Gisbergen are going to be in the series. Connor Zilch, who should have won the title this year, he'll be down there. But I think that the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, there's a lot of intriguing stuff going on with that series, and I think this Parker Retzlaff move is no exception to that. I think this is a really strong move for the team and program. I think it's a really exciting move, and I do believe that this organization will be solid next year. I think they're going to be a top 20 threat most weeks. I think the series is going to be pretty competitive for sure. Excited for this move for sure, and looking forward to see that Parker Retzlaff will be headed to Viking Motorsports next year. I expect this team to be fast. I expect them to be competitive and show some really good stuff in the 2026 NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts year and season. So, that's going to take a special breaking news report on Parker Retzlaff joining Viking Motorsports in 2026. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. How do you think Parker Retzlaff is going to do in the 2026 season? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And do you think there'll be a top 20 threat next year on a week-by-week basis? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If any other major news breaks later today, we'll discuss it live on the channel. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to be ranking every single Cup Series race in 2025 from the worst to the best. Sunday, we're going to be doing the top 20 drivers to watch out for in 2026. That video will be coming out on Sunday. Then Monday, I should have a NASCAR news video dropping. If not, it will be the first team preview video for 2026. Then next weekend will be the Cup winner predictions for 2026, and I have some other big videos that are being planned to be released as well. Got a lot of content coming up. People like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Sheldon Creed, Sam Mayer, Frankie Muniz, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Ryan Preece. The lawsuit updates between 27 front row as that progresses. Corey Day, Hendrick Motorsports, Cletus Savron, Dodge Ram, Will Brown, Brock Feeney, Cam Waters, among other things, Jeff Burton, you name it. We'll talk about all this kind of stuff on the channel coming days, weeks as well, on the Eric Almirola and Chandler Smith too. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode. I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, buddy.